This is it, the most famous beach in the world, Waikiki Beach on the island of Oahu. And over the years, this beach has been the subject of, well, a lot of ridicule. You know, they got that image of the typical tourist with a camera around their neck, snapping one picture after another while wearing some mismatched floral clothing ensemble. I mean, everybody's got to have an aloha shirt, right? But there's a lot more to the very rich culture and history of Waikiki. In fact, hold it right there. Waikiki, the beach where tourism Hawaiian style was invented. Step back in time to the music, the water, the romance, and the grand hotels of an era long since past. And then rediscover Waikiki today, beyond the stereotypes and cliches.
PMS was compromising to every facet of my life. You're just tense, crabby, and irritable. I don't have to be preoccupied with PMS because I take Primson.
Primson PMS for the period before your period.
Is a mud clean really worth it? Mud mask or new mud scrubbing mask. For a deep clean or a smooth polished clean, nothing feels cleaner than mud.
Around the Wax Museum, certain words are no-nos, like melt. So I gotta be real careful when I'm eating one of these. It's got ham, melted with cheddar, melted with turkey, melted with Swiss. I guess that's why they call it a melt.
The new ham and turkey melt. Layers of great tastes all melting together on grilled sourdough. From Jack in the Box. For exciting new taste, this is the place.
Melted. What a great idea.
This is an unusual sight, and we had to get up pretty early in the morning to show it to you. In fact, the sun has just made its way up over Diamond Head. This, believe it or not, is Waikiki Beach, long before the throngs of tourists come down here to make their encampment for the day. And as you can see, well, the beach is pretty well empty. About 100 years ago, that was long before the advent of high-rise construction, this is the way that Hawaiians and visitors alike enjoyed the beach at Waikiki. The energy and mood of the beach hasn't changed in time, just the number of people. Today, it's popular to view Waikiki as nothing more than a hokey Hawaiian tourist trap. Well, there may be a measure of truth to this belief, but to write Waikiki off so easily does the history of this great beach a disservice. It was on the beach at Waikiki that Hawaiian culture gained international fame, from canoe riding and surfing to the sweet sound of island music. Over the years, visitors have held on to a view of Waikiki and Hawaii in general that is built around stereotypes. It's important to realize the canoes were not invented just for tourists, and that all Hawaiian music was not written by Don Ho. Beyond the stereotype and a manufactured nostalgia for the past is a rich history with a story and a skyline that continues to evolve. It may be the single most familiar image at Waikiki, the outrigger canoe. It's also the single most important watercraft in Hawaiian history. Today, canoes are used primarily for recreational purposes, and especially for canoe racing, a sport that began to develop in and around Waikiki at the turn of the century. At one time, canoes hand-carved from koa wood were the mainstay of water travel in the islands. There are only a few craftsmen that still sculpt canoes from the immense koa logs. Wright Bowman Jr. is among a handful of craftsmen still making and repairing older canoes in the traditional manner. The tools have changed, but the spirit of the endeavor has not. Why do you choose to build canoes and to use the koa wood?
Tradition. It's, it's always been done that way, and if you lose that, you lose the whole canoeing, and everything's plastic. Just to keep the tradition of canoeing alive.
canoes found at Waikiki today are generally made of fiberglass. This doesn't diminish their importance culturally or historically.
A tourist comes out to Hawaii, they come to Waikiki Beach. Naturally, they expect to see canoes, right?
That's a good observation.
And they've been around for about how long?
About 1,500 years. The first Hawaiians got to Hawaii probably about 500 AD. And not too long after they arrived on whichever island, we're not exactly sure, they would have dispersed shortly thereafter in canoes such as you see here today. These canoes are no different than canoes you would have seen 1,000 years ago.
Okay, so they come to Waikiki, they see a canoe, and what is it they expect?
Many of them expect to take a ride. From the beginning of the visitor industry, which was about the turn of the century, canoe rides are one of the things that were most associated with Waikiki Beach. Every tourist that came here and stayed at the Moana Hotel, and then later the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, went in for a canoe ride. And this is actually the only place in the world where canoe surfing is done. The Hawaiians were the only people that took their canoe and surfed it purely for the recreation of value, for the fun of it. I mean, there's no place else in the world where you can do it. It's truly unique to Hawaii.
Waikiki, the birthplace of the catamaran, is still a proving ground for various new developments in leisure time watercraft.
As far as kayaking goes, it's probably the newest sport, the newest toys for people. They're made out of a PVC vinyl, pretty much the same material that most whitewater rafts are made out of. The floor is made out of a drop stitch material, which is also used in the wings of the F-15s for when they fold the wings up on the aircraft carrier. So basically, they're some of the toughest materials available to make a boat.
These kayaks are perfect for a sunset cruise to Diamond Head, the most familiar landmark at Waikiki. Now, however, there are additional, never-before-seen sights available to visitors. The Atlanta submarine offers the first below-the-surface view of the waters off Waikiki. The Atlanta sub, which can travel to a depth of up to 150 feet, provides visitors with a first-hand look at the clarity of Hawaiian waters and the diverse fish population that resides off Waikiki. It's a unique experience.
You know, this is really great. It's just too bad it's so short. I mean, I could be down here all day, I think.
Yes, you could. I come down here 3 times a day, and I love it every time.
You know, the only thing is, it would be great if there was some way, you know, you could be outside, you know, with the fish.
Why don't you go?
Well, I mean, it's not that simple because I got clothes on, you know, long pants I didn't bring.
No problem. You got a tank and fins, you can go.
Yeah?
This is not a part of the regular tour, but nevertheless, with my state-of-the-art diving apparel, I set out to get a closer look at what everyone else can see from inside the sub. Currently, the sub explores a sunken ship submerged in about 90 feet of water. Further on in the voyage, you come upon structures resembling condominiums for fish. Actually, they're a University of Hawaii experiment designed to enhance the existing coral reef and to attract marine life to the area. From the early part of the century to the late 1960s, cruise ships brought tourists to the islands. It was almost exclusively the Matson steamship lines that provided the only link to Hawaii up to the late 1940s. At that time, air transportation from the mainland really began to take off. Inter-Island Airways, now known as Hawaiian Airlines, began service between the islands in 1929. But it was the convenience of non-stop air travel from the mainland that would eventually force the demise of the cruise ship industry.
In the Royal Hawaiian Hotel.
In 1927, the idea of a resort hotel in Waikiki was still pretty novel. Now, after arriving on the steamship, you would then motor over here to the Royal Hawaiian. A new hotel in Waikiki that was designed to meet your every comfort and need.
The Royal Hawaiian was definitely the hub of activity. The Moana Hotel was built 26 years before the Royal Hawaiian in 1901. The Royal was built in 1927, but it wasn't until the opening of the Royal Hawaiian that Waikiki really became famous. You know, that's what brought the celebrities to Hawaii. It was the vision of this pink hotel sitting out in the middle of the Pacific.
Cruise ship passengers in the 20s and 30s continually voted the Royal Hawaiian the most beautiful hotel in the world. And even in an era before the advent of color photography, the Pink Palace always stood out, whether you were on the beach or in a boat offshore. It was on the beach in front of the Royal and the Moana hotels that the sound of Hawaii was born. When we return, the music of the islands and the last of the Hawaiian Beach Boys.
Here's a simple fact. GMC truck dealers are ranked #1 in compact truck sales satisfaction. #1. Now, here it is in simple English. Compact truck customers get high-quality treatment at GMC truck dealerships. So the choice is simple. Go to your GMC truck dealer, where you're #1, and quality counts.
GMC truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
The good times are back. Pure gold. Pure gold. DJ 93. DJ 93. That's KODJ. Pure gold. Lock it on and tell a friend.
KODJ.
Tonight at 9.
I'm no fool, Joe. Do you love me or don't you?
The first Irish Catholic ambassador to England in the history of the USA.
It's the end of the world, Mr. President.
The Kennedys of Massachusetts. Then at 11, who will be the next Kennedy in the White House?
Higher office is something that I look forward to seeking someday.
Reporter Pam Thompson talks with the next generation of Kennedys. Tonight at 11 on Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Oh, oh, those hula blues.
There was a time when Hawaiian Beach Boys used to play their ukuleles and guitars down here on the beach, but I doubt today if you'd find any performing on the sand. However, if you listen real carefully, you can still hear the sounds of the past echoing through the high-rise corridors of Waikiki. In fact, here, listen.
The concept of paradise in the Pacific came not only from scenes of tropical beauty that were captured in Hawaii, but also from the sounds of the beach, especially Waikiki Beach in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. The sounds of traditional island music were blended with popular musical trends of the era.
In the 30s and 40s and 50s, when, let's say, the first Hawaii tourist boom started to occur here, when planes were flying and you know, boats were coming over a lot, Hawaiian music took its form in the fact of the images of the beautiful hula girl, the white sands of Waikiki, the slinky steel guitar, and paradise. That's what has been perpetuated over the years around the world as being Hawaiian music.
If we go back to the turn of the century, right in this area in Waikiki, the visitor industry started up, and the Hawaiian music was being affected.
Raymond Connie is a legendary virtuoso of the slack key guitar who 2 years ago was awarded a National Heritage Fellowship Award in Washington, D.C., an honor bestowed upon only 11 people.
I don't think most people know what real Hawaiian music is all about. But what they get to hear is pearly shell from the ocean and all that stuff, you see. And lovely hula hands and all that, see. No, that's not real Hawaiian music. Hawaiian music is with expressions, with feeling. You sing the song from your heart, and when you play as sweet as possible.
Michael Sussman is not really located near Waikiki. He lives in a lush green valley on the island of Kauai. But he keeps the sound of Hawaiian music alive by crafting the finest stringed instruments produced in the islands.
What do you think goes into an instrument that you make that comes from Hawaii that you can't get in an instrument that comes from any other place in the world?
Well, I have a special place here, this Kuleana, this Hawaiian homestead. And I work down here pretty much by myself with my apprentice. And a lot of the coal wood comes from Kauai, and it kind of has the spirit of the valley in here. People have remarked about it. It seems to have there's a haunting quality to the sound of the music.
What goes through your mind when you hear somebody play an instrument that you've made?
It's like my reward for working all these hours and years, you know, to get it into the hands of someone who can really use it to express their art and to share music.
A musical bridge between the past and the present is provided by several Hawaiian musical groups today. Best known among these are the brothers Casimiro and the Peter Moon Band.
The root of our music is Hawaiian. You see, we do anywhere from 35 to 75% of Hawaiian music. We're still a traditional band. I'm still basically a slack key guitar player. The lead singers are basically Hawaiian-type singers, you see.
The brothers Casimiro provide a link to the golden age of Waikiki by performing in the Monarch Room of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel.
Many people come to the islands with their own ideas of what Hawaii should be like and what the music should be like. That Hawaiian music didn't stop after Tiny Bubbles was written.
When I listen to Hawaiian music, I'm deeply affected by the traditions of harmony. I love the harmonies, the way they're able to talk about in their lyrics about the islands and the beauties, and you can be thousands of miles away and never have seen the wonder of Hawaii, but you can be transported there through the lyric.
She's got a leg, ooh, she knows how to use them. Sheer elegance legs, she knows how to choose them.
Some women live in sheer elegance, the pantyhose that looks and feels like real silk from the Orient.
Well, I want her, I've got to have her. She's got legs.
To plan your beautiful days in San Diego, call or write the San Diego Convention and Visitors Bureau.
So have you had all your childhood vaccinations?
Yeah.
Mumps?
Uh-huh.
Measles?
Yes.
Gosh, what's left?
Growing up.
Wow, you've grown up.
I'm almost 10 now.
Do you have a boyfriend?
No, not yet.
So what are you listening to?
Atomic Zombies.
Oh yeah, I know those guys. Healthcare for the way you live. Pacific Care.
In ancient times, man wondered, how can we best harness the awesome power of an eclipse? Today, science has at last provided the answer. Use all four wheels. Introducing the Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX Turbo with full-time all-wheel drive.
What kind of person would hire a hitman to murder a member of their own family on the next Oprah Winfrey Show? A very controversial show, tomorrow at 3, only on 7.
Waikiki today. The skyline has become as packed and crowded with contemporary buildings as any other major city in the United States. It's a fairly compact area, and therefore relatively easy to get around in. A car may be helpful, but the view from the air, especially in a Papillon helicopter flight at sunset, shows off Waikiki at its best. The Hawaiian Beach Boys were a rare phenomenon. They worked the beach, they ran the beach, they tended to tourist needs. Some were musicians, and generally, they were the best watermen on the island, like the legendary Duke Kahanamoku, who was seen in this rare film footage from the 1940s. He was an Olympic medalist in swimming and is considered by most to be the father of modern surfing. Duke was a mentor to the only Beach Boy still working at Waikiki, who provides a link to an era that has long since passed.
Changeover! When did you first see Waikiki Beach? You remember?
Well, the first time I saw it when, you know, we born and raised here at just about a couple of blocks from Diamond Head. And Waikiki here is just like our own backyard. We're weaned in the waters here at Waikiki.
I don't want you to tell me how old you are, but give me an approximation. How many years you've been on the beach?
Well, I've been over 60 years here on the beach.
When you think about it, it's as much a part of the history and tradition of Waikiki as the canoes or the surfboards, the beach mats. I mean, the Beach Boys, I mean, it's a part of it, right?
It is. It's a tradition, and you find that, like, people like me, there's very few of the old-timers, myself and Blue McClure, and right now we're about the only two of the original, you know, beach guys that are left. I love the beach ever since I was small, and even now. And whenever there's waves outside there, you don't catch me in here working at all.
The history of the Beach Boy at Waikiki has been chronicled in a new book by author Grady Timmons.
I think if you look back at the history of Waikiki, they provide a really unique window for looking at it because they were connected to almost everything that went on here. The Beach Boys, canoe surfing was almost totally revived through the Beach Boys. Surfing was revived right here in Waikiki, and the Beach Boys were a big part of that. They were a big part of the romance of Waikiki, you know, the myths and the legends were closely connected to the Beach Boys.
Even long after the era of the Waikiki Beach Boy has passed, Rabbit can still be found close to the water, introducing tourists to the joys of riding the surf at Waikiki.
I got a personal favor to ask of you, okay? What's the secret to your youth? I gotta know quick, okay?
Well, so far, no smoke, no drink.
Yeah.
That's about the best thing. Keep you good health, but I think surfing does the rest for you.
Okay.
And
you stay away from women too?
What's that? No way. They don't call me Rabbit for nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, why do they call you Rabbit?
I'll tell you, my mom and dad, gotta love them. They really work hard. Nice tie, Mom. So tonight I said, I'm in charge. I brought home the Kentucky Fried Chicken 5 or 10 deal. You get 5 pieces of original recipe chicken, perfect for 2, for just $3.99. They're worth it. Or for $2 more, you get the 10-piece deal. Great for those, unexpected guests. The Kentucky Fried Chicken 5 or 10 deal. I do what I can.
This is what my body looked like a couple of years ago. That was then. This is now. The way I see it, no matter where you're starting from, you can always get better.
Now get 2 years at Holiday Spa Health Club for only $19 a month. Visit Holiday Spa today for a free guest tour.
Is it worth it? You tell me.
Move up to Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme styling and performance. Cutlass Supreme with the exclusive Olds Edge, 24-hour roadside service, bumper-to-bumper warranty, and we're so sure you'll love your new Cutlass Supreme. If you're not satisfied, bring it back.
We've got the deal on your new Oldsmobile.
$1,500 cash back on Cutlass Supreme.
It's the new generation of Olds.
See your Southern California Oldsmobile dealers today.
At Lucky, wherever you look, you'll save. A few cents here, a few cents there. And even more with Key Buy savings like these. Reel in the savings on 12.5-ounce cans of Star-Kissed chunk-like tuna packed in water or oil. For elegant salads and casseroles, pick up Star-Kissed albacore packed in water. With lower prices overall every time you shop, you'll save more than just a drop in the bucket at Lucky.
For nearly 100 years now, Waikiki Beach has drawn visitors from all over the world. And the attraction to this beach that's at the foot of Diamond Head is sometimes a little difficult to understand. Because during peak hours, it's noisy, it's really crowded down here, and you can often spot some most unusual characters. Now, maybe that is part of its unique charm. And as we move headlong into the 21st century, I don't think there's any chance at all that Waikiki is going to lose its reputation as being the most famous beach in the world. And now, before we go, here's a look at what's coming up next time.
Grab a deck chair, sit back, and journey with us to paradise. It's Hawaii the way you remember it, and Hawaii like you've never seen it before. Tomorrow night, Hawaii is calling.
That's next time. And now from Waikiki Beach, I'm Chuck Henry. So long, everybody.
Hotel accommodations at Waikiki Beach provided by the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Air transportation to Hawaii provided by Northwest Airlines. Air transportation in Hawaii provided by Hawaiian Airlines. Ground transportation in Hawaii provided by Dollar Rent-A-Car. Helicopters provided by Papillon Helicopters Hawaii.